It's one of the hardest questions we can ask. How do you know when love is no longer enough? How do you know when the place you came from is no longer a place you can stay? Most people never walk away from a toxic family. Not because they aren't strong enough, but because they believe their loyalty is more important than their peace. This is a story about how to choose peace and the signs that tell you it's time. There's a quiet pain that lives in the space between what a family should be and what it is. It's an invisible weight you carry. You feel it on Sunday afternoons, during phone calls that leave you feeling smaller, or in the silence after a visit when your own home suddenly feels like a shelter. We are taught that family is forever, a bond that must be preserved at any cost. But we are rarely taught how to count that cost. What is the price of your tranquility? The cost of your self-respect? The cost of your own life's purpose? This is not a guide on how to abandon those you love. It's an exploration of the warning signs, the red flags the universe sends to let us know that our own soul is in danger. We will walk through 11 signs one by one. Each is a chapter in a story of quiet suffering, but also a signpost pointing toward a different future. A future where you are no longer drowning. A future where you can finally breathe. The journey begins with the most common and corrosive sign of all. This is the first sign, the one that often starts so early we mistake it for the sound of love. It is the steady, dripping tap of criticism that over years can erode the very bedrock of your self-worth. It is the feeling that no matter what you do, it is never quite right, never quite enough. Think of a moment from your childhood. You bring home a drawing, beaming with pride. You hold it up, a colorful world you created. Instead of seeing the joy, they see the flaws. Why is the sky purple? The sun is supposed to be in the corner. You missed a spot. The pride on your face falters, replaced by a flicker of confusion, then shame. You learn a lesson that day, not about art, but about yourself. What I create is flawed. I am flawed. Now, imagine that moment never ends. It just changes its costume. As a teenager, you get a 92 on a difficult exam. The first response is not congratulations, but what happened to the other 8 points? Your cousin got a 95. As a young adult, you proudly cook your first big meal for the family. You wait for the verdict with a hopeful heart. The first comment is, "It's a little salty," or "This is good, but you know, my mother used to make it with a different spice." Your effort is instantly diminished. Your success graded on a curve you can never satisfy. This criticism isn't always direct or aggressive. In fact, its most potent form is often disguised as care. It's the helpful advice that is actually a thinly veiled judgment about your choices, your career, your partner, your apartment, the way you dress. "I'm only telling you this for your own good," they say. A phrase that often precedes a deeply cutting remark. It's the backhanded compliment. "You look so great. I almost didn't recognize you." It's the joke that isn't really a joke, the one that lands with a sting and is followed by, "Oh, don't be so sensitive. I was just kidding." But you are not too sensitive. You are a human being with a nervous system that is registering a constant low-grade attack. This endless critique does something terrible to the soul. It rewires your brain. The external voice of the critic slowly becomes your internal voice. You begin to criticize yourself before they even have a chance. You start a new project and immediately think of all the ways it could fail. You look in the mirror and see only the flaws they've pointed out 1,000 times. You achieve something wonderful and you feel a moment of joy, quickly followed by a sense of dread, waiting for the inevitable, but ... that will deflate your accomplishment. You have learned to live in a state of preemptive disappointment. This is where we can find refuge in the wisdom of the Stoics, specifically the former slave Epictetus. He taught that the world is divided into 2 realms, that which we control and that which we do not. The opinions, judgments, and criticisms of others. Even our family falls squarely into the category of what we do not control. What we do control is our response, our judgment about their judgment. Epictetus would ask a powerful question. If a person gave your body to any stranger he met on his way, you would certainly be angry. And do you feel no shame in handing over your own mind to be confused and mystified by anyone who happens to verbally attack you? Their criticism is just noise, just vibrations in the air. It only becomes a wound if you agree with it, if you assent to it, if you hand over your mind and allow their words to become your truth. To see this sign clearly is to begin the process of revoking that consent. It's the first step in building a shield around your mind, a filter that separates their words from your worth. It's the realization that their need to criticize says everything about their own inner state and nothing about your intrinsic value. Ask yourself these questions in the quiet of your own heart. Whose voice do you hear when you judge yourself? Is it your own? When you accomplish something, is your first feeling joy or anxiety about how it will be received? Have you been taught that love is conditional, that it must be earned by being flawless? Recognizing this sign is not about blaming. It is about seeing. It is about understanding that the dripping tap of criticism has created a constant state of dampness and cold in your soul. And it is giving yourself permission to finally step out of the damp and into the warmth of self-acceptance. If constant criticism is the erosion of your worth, the second sign is the erosion of your reality. It is one of the most insidious and damaging forms of psychological manipulation because it doesn't just attack how you feel. It attacks your ability to know what is real. This sign is called gaslighting. The term comes from a 1938 play, Gas Light, where a husband systematically manipulates his wife into believing she is going insane. He subtly dims the gas-powered lights in their home but denies it's happening, telling her it's all in her head. Over time, she begins to distrust her own perceptions, her own memory, her own sanity. This is the essence of this sign, the deliberate act of rewriting reality to control another person. It often starts small. You remember a conversation clearly. You bring it up, and they say, with absolute certainty, that never happened. You're remembering it wrong. They say it with such conviction, with such a look of calm sincerity, that a seed of doubt is planted in your mind. Could I be wrong? My memory has been fuzzy lately. Then it escalates. You express a feeling. When you said that, it really hurt me. The response is not an apology or a discussion. It is a reframing of your emotions as invalid. You're being too emotional. You're overreacting. Or worse, I never said that. You're just trying to start a fight. Suddenly, the issue is not their behavior, but your perception of it. Your feelings are presented as evidence of your instability. The most potent form of gaslighting involves rewriting the past. A painful event from childhood, one that you remember with visceral clarity, is retold as a funny anecdote. Your pain is erased, replaced by a laugh track. If you protest, you are accused of having no sense of humor or holding onto grudges. They become the victim of your memory. It's a shame you always have to be so negative and bring up the past, they might say, making you feel guilty for the scars they inflicted. Over time, this experience creates a profound and terrifying internal chaos. You lose trust in your own mind. You begin to second-guess every feeling, every memory, every decision. You live in a constant state of self-doubt, a fog of confusion. You start to think, maybe I am the crazy one. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I am the problem. This is the gaslighter's ultimate victory, when you internalize their narrative so completely that you become your own jailer. You police your own thoughts and feelings, dismissing them as invalid before anyone else has the chance. The Stoics placed immense value on the human mind's ability to reason, what they called the hegemonikon, or the ruling faculty. This was our inner compass, our guide to living a virtuous and rational life. Gaslighting is a direct assault on this faculty. It is an attempt to break your compass so that you must rely on the gaslighter as your guide. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus provides a powerful antidote. He taught that while we cannot control what others say or do, we are the absolute masters of our own judgments. Our inner world, our ascent to what is true, is our fortress. He would argue that to allow someone else to define your reality is the ultimate form of slavery. The work, then, is to reclaim the sovereignty of your own mind. This means learning to trust yourself again. It begins with a simple, radical act. When your memory of an event clashes with their telling of it, you choose to believe yourself. You hold on to your reality, even if you are the only one in the room who sees it. You say to yourself, "My feeling is real. My memory is real. My perception is valid, even if it is denied." You treat your inner experience as a primary source, not as something to be fact-checked by those who have a vested interest in invalidating it. Ask yourself these questions. Are there conversations you have where you walk away feeling confused and questioning your own sanity? Do you find yourself constantly apologizing for things you're not sure you even did wrong? Have you been told that your feelings or reactions are too much or crazy? Is there a version of your past that you hold silently in your heart, one that is completely different from the official family story? Recognizing this sign is like waking from a trance. The fog begins to lift. You realize you are not insane. You are being manipulated. You are not misremembering. Your memory is being suppressed. The deep, grounding feeling of trusting your own mind, even when no one else validates it, is the first step toward freedom. It is the beginning of navigating by your own compass. Once again, in every dysfunctional system, there needs to be a place to offload the blame, the shame, and the discomfort. In many families, that place is not a thing, it is a person. The third sign it's time to walk away is the realization that you have been cast in the role of the family scapegoat. The scapegoat, in ancient tradition, was a goat upon which the sins of the community were symbolically placed. The goat was then driven into the wilderness, taking the sins with it, cleansing the community. In a family context, this is not a symbolic act. It is a lived daily reality. The scapegoat is the person who is unofficially designated as the problem. They are the lightning rod for all the family's unresolved issues. How do you know if you are the scapegoat? You are the one who is blamed for things that are not your fault. If there is a family argument, it's because you were being difficult. If your parents are in a bad mood, it's because of something you did or failed to do. You are the reason for the family's financial stress, the reason for a sibling's poor choices, the reason for the general air of unhappiness. You become a container for everyone else's failures and frustrations. You are also the identified patient. This is a psychological term for the person in a dysfunctional family who is singled out as being the one with the issues. While other family members may have severe problems, their issues are ignored or enabled. Instead, the family focuses all its negative attention on the scapegoat. Your flaws are magnified and discussed endlessly, while theirs are swept under the rug. You might be the only one who goes to therapy, trying to fix yourself, without realizing you are carrying the emotional burden of the entire system. Being the scapegoat means your successes are threatening. When you achieve something, it disrupts the narrative that you are the flawed one. So your successes will be ignored, minimized, or subtly sabotaged. Conversely, your failures are secretly welcomed. They are held up as proof that the family's assessment of you was right all along. See? We told you this would happen. There is a strange, unspoken relief when you stumble, because it restores the family's dysfunctional equilibrium. Living in this role is soul-crushing. You walk through life with a pervasive sense of guilt and shame, that you cannot trace to a specific wrongdoing. You feel fundamentally flawed, as if you were born with a stain on your soul. You might spend years trying to fix yourself, to be better, to finally win their approval, not realizing that the role you've been given requires you to fail. The system needs its scapegoat. Your healing would break the system. The Stoics teach us about the power of roles. We all play roles in life: parent, child, friend, employee. But Epictetus warned against accepting a role that is assigned to you by others if it conflicts with your own nature and virtue. He would say that just because someone casts you as the problem, you do not have to accept the part. Your true role is to be a rational, virtuous, and tranquil human being. Any external role that undermines this primary duty is illegitimate. The Stoic solution is to refuse the role. This is not done through arguments or confrontations. You cannot convince the rest of the cast that the play is wrong. You simply stop showing up for the performance. You stop accepting the blame for things you did not do. You stop internalizing the narrative that you are the source of all problems. When the blame is laid upon you, you see it for what it is. Not a reflection of your character, but a projection of theirs. You see the sin being placed on your back, and you let it fall to the ground. You walk on, leaving it behind. This is an act of profound self-respect. It is the understanding that you are not responsible for anyone else's happiness, choices, or emotional state. Your only responsibility is to your own character and your own peace of mind. Ask yourself these difficult questions. When things go wrong in your family, does the blame seem to consistently land on you? Are your struggles seen as evidence of your flaws, while other family members' struggles are seen as misfortunes? Do you feel a sense of relief when you are away from your family, as if you can finally take off a heavy costume? Do you secretly believe that if you could just fix yourself, your family would finally be happy? To identify yourself as the scapegoat is a moment of both profound sadness and immense liberation. The sadness comes from recognizing the deep injustice of the role you've been forced to play. But the liberation comes from the realization that the flaws you've been carrying are not yours. The shame you feel is not yours. The guilt is not yours. It was never yours. And you can, at any moment, decide to set it down and walk away, leaving it in the wilderness where it belongs. The fourth sign is a quiet theft, but what is stolen is not your past or your present. It is your future. This is the belittling of your ambitions. It is the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, message that your dreams are silly, your goals are unreachable, and your potential is limited. It is the act of putting a ceiling on your sky. Picture this. You've been thinking for months, maybe years, about a change. A dream that sparks a fire in you. Maybe you want to leave your stable but soul-crushing job to become a carpenter, a writer, a chef. Maybe you want to move to a new city, a place that has always called to you. After weeks of building up your courage, you decide to share this fragile, precious idea with your family. You lay it out on the table, your heart pounding with a mix of excitement and vulnerability. You wait for the reaction. What you hope for is a spark of their own, a reflection of your excitement. That's amazing. How can we help? Instead, you are met with a wall of skepticism, disguised as pragmatism. Well, that sounds nice, but is it realistic? They begin. It's very competitive. Most people who try that fail. Do you have a backup plan? Don't you think you're a little old to be starting over? Each question is a stone laid on top of your dream. They call it being realistic, but it feels like they are building a tomb for your ambition before it has even had a chance to live. The belittling can also be more passive. You start a small online business, pouring your evenings and weekends into it. You tell them about your first sale, and they say, "Oh, that's a cute little hobby you have." The word little is a weapon. The word cute is a dismissal. It reduces your passion project, your leap of faith, to a childish pastime. It sends a clear message: don't get too big for your britches. We see you as small, and we need you to stay that way. This constant discouragement has a devastating effect. It fosters a sense of learned helplessness. You start to believe their narrative. You start to think, maybe they're right. Maybe it is a stupid idea. Maybe I don't have what it takes. The fire in your heart dwindles to an ember and then to ash. You put your dream away on a high shelf, labeled someday, which you know means never. You settle back into the life they find acceptable, a life that is safe, predictable, and 2 sizes too small for your soul. You have allowed them to steal your future from you. And the most tragic part is, they have convinced you it was for your own protection. For this theft of potential, the philosopher Seneca has words that cut to the bone. He was a man surrounded by the distractions of power and wealth, and he was obsessed with the one thing no amount of money could buy: time. In his essay, On the Shortness of Life, he argues that our lives are not short, but we make them so by wasting our time on things that do not matter. We give our most precious resource away to other people's dramas, to pointless anxieties, and to a life lived according to someone else's script. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested." Seneca would look at a life where dreams are belittled and see the greatest possible waste. He would see a life being squandered not on wild living, but on a timid existence, a failure to invest in one's own highest achievements. The Stoic path here is to see the cultivation of your potential not as a selfish whim, but as a sacred duty. Your ambition is the voice of your inner demon, your guiding spirit, telling you where you need to go. To ignore it is to betray yourself. To allow others to silence it is to let them commit a theft against your very soul. This requires you to become the fierce guardian of your own spark. You must build a sanctuary for your dreams where the cynical voices of others cannot enter. Ask yourself these questions. What dream did you abandon because someone made you feel foolish for having it? When you think about your biggest goals, do you feel excitement or a sense of apology? Are you living a life that truly excites you, or one that is simply acceptable to others? Recognizing this sign is the first step toward reclaiming your future. It is the realization that their limitations are not your own, their fears are not your destiny, and that your dreams, no matter how small or grand, are not cute or silly. They are the blueprint for the life you were always meant to live. If belittling your ambitions is the theft of your future, the 5th sign is the theft of your present. It is the subtle art of minimizing your successes. This sign is particularly painful because it happens at the very moments you should be feeling the most pride and joy. It's a quiet poison that turns your victories into non-events. Let's paint the scene. After years of hard work, you finally get the promotion you've been striving for. You've put in the long hours, made the sacrifices. You are bursting with a sense of accomplishment. You call your family, your voice filled with the good news. There is a pause on the other end of the line. Then comes the response, "Oh, that's nice." 2 simple words that suck all the air out of your balloon. Before you can even process the flat reaction, the subject is changed. "Well, listen, while I have you, your uncle is having that problem with his car again." Your moment, the one you worked so hard for, is over. It hasn't just been minimized. It has been erased, treated as a brief and unimportant interruption before returning to the regularly scheduled programming of problems and complaints. Or perhaps the reaction takes a different form. It's a comparison. A promotion? That's great. Your cousin just got a partner at her law firm. Instantly, your achievement is placed on a scale and found wanting. It's no longer a victory to be celebrated on its own terms, but a lesser accomplishment in the family's internal Olympics of success. Another variation is attributing your success to external factors, erasing your own agency. Wow, you were so lucky to get that job. Or, the person who hired you must have really liked you. The implication is that your success wasn't due to your own merit, your skill, or your perseverance, but to blind luck or the whim of another. It's another way of saying, you couldn't have done this on your own. This pattern is devastating because it teaches you a dangerous lesson. Your accomplishments do not matter. The joy they bring is fleeting and invalid. You learn to stop sharing your good news, you get a raise, and you keep it to yourself. You finish a marathon, and you don't mention it. You learn to celebrate in silence, because the silence is less painful than the dismissal. You become disconnected from your own achievements, unable to internalize your own competence. You move through life accumulating successes that you are unable to feel. Like a ghost collecting trophies, it cannot hold. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius offers a powerful antidote to this. As the most powerful man in the world, he could have been addicted to applause and validation. Instead, he constantly reminded himself to find satisfaction in the action itself, not in the outcome or the praise it might bring. He wrote to himself, "Everything that is in any way beautiful is beautiful in itself and terminates in itself, not having praise as part of itself." He later continues, "Does a fine emerald lose its beauty for lack of admiration? Your achievement is the emerald. It is beautiful and valuable in and of itself, whether anyone else recognizes its shine or not. Their failure to celebrate your success does not diminish its worth. It only exposes their own inability to see beauty." The Stoic practice is to shift your source of satisfaction inward. You must become your own primary witness and celebrant. The reward for your hard work was not the phone call you made to them. The reward was the work itself, the character it built, the skill you honed, the person you became in the process. This is where the metaphor of the distorted mirror returns. When you achieve something, you hold it up to the mirror, hoping to see it reflected in its full glory. But the mirror is dark. It refuses to reflect your light. Or worse, it shows you a smaller, duller version of your accomplishment. The solution is to stop holding up your successes to their mirror. You must learn to see them and validate them. With your own eyes, ask yourself, do you hesitate to share good news with your family, anticipating a muted or negative reaction? When you do succeed, do you feel a lasting sense of pride, or does it quickly fade? Have you been taught that celebrating yourself is arrogant or boastful? Recognizing this sign is to reclaim the joy of your own life. It is to understand that you do not need an audience to validate your victories. The emerald does not need a jeweler to tell it that it shines. Your success is yours. The pride is yours. The joy is yours. Let no one take that away from you. There's a point on the journey of healing where you begin to get stronger. You start setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and finding a sense of inner peace. This should be a moment of triumph. But if you are in a toxic system, your healing will be perceived not as a victory, but as a betrayal. The sixth sign is the most active and desperate of them all, the deliberate sabotage of your personal growth. Imagine you've started going to therapy. For the first time, you have a safe space to unpack the years of criticism, gaslighting, and blame. You are learning new tools. You are building what the Stoics would call your inner citadel. You start to feel calmer, more centered. You stop reacting to the old provocations. You respond with a calm no where you used to give in with a resentful yes. This is when the sabotage begins. It is often timed with surgical precision. The night before your weekly therapy session, a massive dramatic crisis will erupt out of nowhere, designed to leave you so emotionally dysregulated that your session becomes about the new crisis, not your long-term healing. Or they will start to mock your newfound health. "Oh, you're too good for us now that you're in therapy?" Or, "You think you're so enlightened because you read a book on philosophy." They will use your growth as a weapon against you, framing your self-care as selfishness, your boundaries as cruelty. "You've changed," they will say, and the tone is not one of admiration. It is an accusation. The unspoken end of that sentence is ... and we want the old you back. They want the version of you that was easy to control, the one who absorbed their anxiety, the one who played the assigned role without complaint. Your health exposes the sickness of the system, and the system will fight back to protect itself. The sabotage can be emotional, creating drama to pull you back into the chaos. It can be financial, with promises of help for a new venture being withdrawn the moment you start to become too independent. It can be social, with stories being spread to other family members or friends that paint you as unstable or selfish. For trying to change your life, it is a multi-pronged attack with a single goal: to stop your evolution, to pull you back into the familiar, dysfunctional dance. Living with this is like trying to build a house in the middle of a demolition zone. Every brick you lay, every foundation you pour, is targeted. It is exhausting and deeply disheartening. It can make you feel that healing is impossible, that you are destined to remain trapped. Marcus Aurelius knew what it was like to build amidst chaos. As emperor, he faced constant threats from outside the empire and from within his own court. His meditations are a testament to the daily work of building and defending his inner citadel. He wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." For the Stoic, the sabotage itself must become the fuel for your practice. Their mockery of your boundaries is the perfect opportunity to practice holding them with calm resolve. Their manufactured drama is the perfect training ground for you to practice retreating to your inner citadel. Their attacks are not a reason to stop building. They are the very reason you must build stronger. You must use their resistance as your resistance training. Every act of sabotage is a confirmation that your healing is working. Their panic is a sign of your progress. They would not be trying to tear down your house if they didn't see it being built strong and tall. Ask yourself these difficult questions. When you try to set a boundary, is it met with respect or with backlash and punishment? Does drama seem to escalate whenever you are on the verge of a personal breakthrough? Have you been accused of being selfish for prioritizing your own mental health? Do the people in your life support the person you are becoming, or do they seem to miss the person you used to be? Recognizing this sign is crucial. It shows you that the problem is not your inability to heal, but the active resistance to your healing. Your growth is not the problem, it is the solution. And their attempts to sabotage it are the final, desperate proof that you are on the right path. You must keep building. The seventh sign is not a single event, but the very atmosphere you are forced to breathe. It is the existence of constant, unending drama. In a healthy system, peace is the baseline. In a toxic one, chaos is the baseline. Peace is seen as a void that must be filled with noise, conflict, and high emotion. Think about the narrative of your family from week to week. Is it a story of calm, connection, and gentle moments? Or is it a relentless soap opera? This week, two siblings are locked in a bitter feud, and everyone must take a side. Next week, a minor financial issue is blown into a catastrophic emergency that requires frantic phone calls and a flurry of accusations. The week after, a passive-aggressive comment from a holiday dinner 5 years ago is resurrected and becomes the source of a fresh, raging argument. There is never a ceasefire. There is only a brief reloading before the next volley. Living in this environment is like living on a ship in the middle of a hurricane that never makes landfall. You are perpetually lurching from one crisis to the next, your emotional equilibrium constantly thrown off balance. You can never rest because you know the next wave is coming. This addiction to drama means that good news is boring, stability is threatening, and tranquility is unbearable. If a genuine crisis does not exist, one will be unconsciously manufactured to feed the system's need for intensity. This manifests as a constant stream of urgent texts, panicked phone calls, and group chats that are emotional minefields. You are expected not just to witness the drama, but to participate. You are pulled into arguments that have nothing to do with you. You are used as a pawn in someone else's power struggle. You become a repository for secrets, forced to carry the conflicting stories of different family members, which is an impossible and soul-crushing burden. The psychological toll is immense. Your nervous system is constantly flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. You become addicted to the chaos yourself, or you become completely numb to it, which is another form of spiritual exhaustion. You lose the ability to distinguish between a genuine crisis and a manufactured one. A small problem and a life-altering catastrophe trigger the same level of internal panic. The Stoics had a word for the state they sought: apatheia. This is not apathy, which is a state of uncaring numbness. Apatheia is a state of profound tranquility and equanimity that comes from a mind that is not disturbed by the violent swings of passion. It is the goal of a clear and rational soul. A life of constant drama is the polar opposite of apatheia. It is a life of enslavement to passion, to anger, fear, jealousy, and panic. The Stoics would argue that a person caught in such a storm is not truly living. They are merely reacting, tossed about by external events and other people's out-of-control emotions. The Stoic practice is to declare your own personal ceasefire. You cannot stop the war around you, but you can refuse to pick up a weapon. This means you stop participating. You do not take sides. You do not engage in the circular arguments. You do not respond to the panic texts with your own panic. You become an island of calm in their stormy sea. You offer a simple, "I'm sorry you're going through that," without getting drawn into the narrative. You become, in essence, boring. You do not provide the dramatic reaction the system craves. Ask yourself, does your family seem to thrive on chaos? Is there always a new problem, a new feud, a new crisis? Do you feel more like a firefighter or a therapist than a son, daughter, or sibling? Do you feel exhausted, overstimulated, or numb after most family interactions? Recognizing this sign is to admit that you are living in a storm. And the only rational response to a storm you cannot control is to seek shelter. The shelter is your own peace, your own quiet, your own refusal to let their chaos become your own. Closely related to the storm of drama is the eighth sign, a more specific and manipulative tactic: the constant manufacturing of crises. This is different from general drama. A manufactured crisis is when a small, manageable issue or even a non-issue is deliberately inflated into an urgent, high-stakes emergency that requires your immediate attention and emotional labor. Imagine this scenario. You've planned a quiet weekend for yourself. You're looking forward to it all week. It's your time to recharge. On Friday evening, your phone explodes. It's a string of frantic messages from a family member. "I can't believe this is happening. It's a total disaster. Everything is ruined." Your heart leaps into your throat. You imagine a terrible accident, a health emergency, a genuine catastrophe. You call immediately, your mind racing. After several minutes of panicked, circular conversation, you finally get to the root of the disaster. They can't find a specific document they need for something that isn't urgent. That's it. That's the crisis. A minor inconvenience has been presented as a 5-alarm fire. But by the time you hang up the phone, your own nervous system's been hijacked. Your peaceful weekend is shattered. You are left feeling anxious and resentful, while the crisis creator has successfully made their minor problem the center of your universe for the evening. This is a pattern of control. Manufacturing a crisis is a powerful way to command attention. It forces you to drop everything, your plans, your needs, your peace, and focus entirely on them. It's a way of testing your loyalty. How quickly will you respond to my panic? How much of your own life are you willing to sacrifice for my manufactured emergency? It is also a way to avoid accountability. People who constantly create external crises rarely have to look at their own internal chaos. The smoke alarm they keep pulling is a distraction from the real fire burning within them. Living with a crisis manufacturer is utterly exhausting. You become conditioned to their alarms, but you can never fully ignore them because what if this one time it's a real fire? So you live in a state of anxious anticipation, your energy constantly being diverted from your own life to put out their imaginary fires. It erodes your trust and fills you with a deep-seated resentment. You begin to see their name on your phone, not as a source of connection, but as an incoming missile of stress. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote extensively about anxiety, particularly the habit of suffering over things that are trivial or have not yet happened. He famously said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The manufacturer of crises forces you to live permanently inside their panicked imagination. They create a fictional, catastrophic reality and demand that you treat it as real. The Stoic response is to refuse to enter their fiction. This requires you to become a calm, discerning detective. When the alarm is pulled, you do not immediately rush toward the smoke. You take a breath. You ask clarifying, non-emotional questions. What specifically has happened? What have you tried so far to solve it? What is the actual deadline for this? Your calm rationality is water on their fire. Often, the crisis will magically de-escalate when it is not met with an equally panicked reaction. You are teaching them, through your own behavior, that only a real fire will get a firefighter's response. Ask yourself these questions. Is there someone in your family who seems to turn every small problem into a major catastrophe? Do you often find yourself derailing your own plans to manage someone else's emergency? Do you feel drained and foolish after these crises resolve and you realize they were never as serious as they were made out to be? Recognizing this sign is about reclaiming your own energy and attention. It is the decision to stop being a first responder for fires that do not exist. You learn to conserve your energy for the real challenges of your own life, rather than squandering it on the fictional disasters of someone else's. The ninth sign is a heavy, invisible job that you were never formally hired for, but are expected to perform 24/7. It is the role of the designated emotional regulator. You are the strong one, the calm one, the responsible one, and therefore, it is your duty to manage, absorb, and process the unregulated emotions of the entire family. This is the experience of being an emotional sponge. A family member is angry, so they call you to yell, using you as a lightning rod for their rage. They hang up feeling relieved, while you are left trembling and saturated with their fury. A parent is anxious, so they call you and loop for an hour about all their worries. They hang up feeling heard, while you are left carrying the heavy weight of their anxiety. A sibling is sad, and you are expected to sit with them and cheer them up, putting your own needs aside to cater to their melancholy. You have become a human dumping ground for uncomfortable feelings. Your own emotional state is irrelevant. It does not matter if you are tired, sad, or overwhelmed yourself. Your role is to be the ever-ready container for everyone else. This is a profound violation of boundaries, a form of emotional parentification where the child, regardless of their age, is forced to act as the parent to their own parent or siblings. The phone call is the most common delivery system for this toxic dynamic. You see their name on the screen and you feel a sense of dread. You know this is not a call for connection. It is a call for service. It will not be a reciprocal exchange. It will be a monologue of their feelings, which you are expected to absorb and validate. You listen, you soothe, you advise. You hang up the phone feeling utterly depleted, as if you've just run a marathon you didn't sign up for. You have given away your precious life force and received nothing in return. This dynamic prevents others from ever learning to regulate themselves. Why should they, when you are always there to do it for them? Your competence enables their incompetence. Your strength enables their weakness. You have become a crucial and crippling part of their emotional support system at the direct expense of your own. Over time, you can forget you even have your own feelings. You become so focused on managing theirs that your own inner world becomes a neglected, overgrown landscape. Epictetus taught that the most important task in life is to differentiate between what is ours and what is not. He would be clear, another person's anger is not yours. Another person's anxiety is not yours. Their emotional state is the product of their judgments, and their judgments are not within your control. To believe that you can, or should, fix another person's inner world is a fundamental misunderstanding of nature. It is the height of arrogance and a recipe for burnout. The Stoic solution is to resign from this unpaid, soul-destroying job. You must, with gentle firmness, hand their feelings back to them. This is done not with anger, but with boundaries. It sounds like this: I can hear how angry you are, but I am not the right person for you to direct this at. Or, I know you are very anxious right now, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't have the capacity to talk about this for an hour. Or the simple, powerful, I can't take this on right now. At first, this will be met with shock and anger. They will accuse you of being selfish and uncaring. They will lament, I can't talk to you anymore. What they mean is, I can't use you as an emotional dumping ground anymore. You must be willing to withstand this backlash, knowing that it is a sign that your boundary is working. You are teaching them and yourself that you are only responsible for one person's emotional state, your own. Ask yourself, do people in your family call you to vent, but rarely ask how you are doing? Do you feel responsible for other people's happiness? Do you feel exhausted and empty after talking with certain family members? Recognizing this sign is about reclaiming your own emotional sovereignty. You are not a sponge. You are not a container. You are a human being deserving of your own peace. Resigning from this job is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you will ever perform. The 10th sign is the foundation upon which all the other signs are built. It is the fundamental lack of respect for your boundaries. Without boundaries, you are not a separate person. You are simply an extension of someone else, a resource to be used at their will. A consistent disregard for your no is one of the clearest and most definitive signs of a toxic dynamic. Boundaries are the invisible lines we draw around ourselves that define what is me and what is not me. They are the rules of engagement that tell others how we expect to be treated. In healthy relationships, boundaries are respected. In toxic ones, they are seen as a challenge, an insult, or an obstacle to be overcome. This disrespect can manifest in many ways. It can be physical, like someone walking into your room without knocking, going through your personal belongings, or giving unwanted physical affection. It can be emotional, like pushing you to talk about subjects you've clearly said are off limits, or invalidating your feelings when you express them. It can be temporal, like calling you at all hours of the night or showing up at your home unannounced, expecting you to drop everything for them. It is the underlying assumption that your time, your space, your energy, and your feelings are public property. When you try to state a boundary, it is met with a variety of tactics. It might be outright ignored. You say, please don't comment on my weight, and the very next week they say, I'm just worried about you. Have you gained a few pounds? It might be met with guilt tripping. You say, I can't make it to that event on Sunday. I need a day to rest. And the response is, but I was counting on you. I guess family just doesn't matter to you anymore. It might be met with punishment. where you are given the silent treatment or bad-mouthed to other relatives for daring to say no. The core message behind every boundary violation is this: my needs are more important than your needs. I do not see you as a separate, sovereign individual. Your no is a personal rejection of me. This is why setting even the smallest boundary can feel like starting a war. You are not just saying no to a request. You are challenging the fundamental power structure of the family system. The entire philosophy of Stoicism can be seen as a masterclass in setting and maintaining boundaries. The dichotomy of control is the ultimate boundary. This is mine, my thoughts, my choices, my actions. That is not mine, their thoughts, their choices, their actions. The Stoic practices detaching their well-being from things they cannot control, which includes other people's reactions to their boundaries. The Stoic approach to setting a boundary is not aggressive. It is firm, calm, and rooted in reason. You state your limit clearly and simply, without excessive justification or apology. I am not available to talk after 9 p.m. I will not be discussing my finances with you. If you raise your voice at me, I will end the conversation. You state the boundary. Then comes the hard part. You must be willing to enforce the consequence. If they call after 9 p.m., you do not answer. If they bring up your finances, you repeat, "That is not something I am discussing," and change the subject. If they raise their voice, you say, "As I said, I'm not continuing this conversation while you're yelling," and you hang up or leave the room. The action is what matters. Their response, their anger, their guilt-tripping, their tantrum is not in your control. You let it go. You focus only on what is yours, maintaining your boundary. This is how you teach people how to treat you. You teach them with your actions. Ask yourself, do you feel anxious or guilty when you have to say no to a family member? Are your requests for space or privacy consistently ignored? Do you find yourself giving in to things you don't want to do just to keep the peace? Recognizing this sign is to understand that you have a right to your own life. Your no is a complete sentence. Your boundaries are not a negotiation. They are a declaration of selfhood. Building and maintaining them is the essential work of becoming a free and sovereign individual. The 11th and final sign is not an action someone takes against you. It is the state that your own body and mind are forced to inhabit as a result of all the other signs. It is the bone-deep exhaustion that comes from a state of constant, unrelenting hyper-vigilance. Hyper-vigilance is the experience of a nervous system that is perpetually stuck in threat mode. You are like a soldier on watch who is never relieved of duty. Your senses are heightened, not for joy, but for danger. You are constantly scanning your environment, your conversations, and your text messages for signs of the next attack, the next crisis, the next criticism, the next boundary violation. You can never fully relax. Imagine you are having a rare moment of peace. You are sitting with a book and a cup of tea. Your breathing is slow, your shoulders are relaxed. Then you hear the specific sound of a text message from a particular family member. What happens in your body? For most people living in toxic systems, the reaction is instantaneous and physical. A jolt of adrenaline shoots through you. Your heart rate quickens, your stomach clenches. Your shoulders tense up, climbing toward your ears. The peace is gone. It has been shattered not by the content of the message, you haven't even read it yet, but by the anticipation of the content. Your body has learned that this sound, this name, equals danger. This is a life lived on high alert. You enter family gatherings not with an open heart, but with your shields up, mentally preparing for the inevitable passive-aggressive comment or dramatic scene. You listen to voicemails with a sense of dread. You find yourself overanalyzing every word, every tone, every silence, trying to decode the hidden threat. Is she mad at me? Is he about to ask for something? Is this the start of another fight? This state of chronic hypervigilance has devastating consequences for your health. It leads to chronic fatigue because your body is burning massive amounts of energy being on guard all the time. It leads to anxiety disorders, insomnia, digestive issues, and brain fog. You feel scattered, jumpy, and irritable, and you don't know why. It is your body keeping score. It is your nervous system screaming that it is not safe. The Stoic practice of prosocion, or mindful attention, is the direct medicine for this condition. Prosocion is the practice of training your attention. Normally, a Stoic directs this attention inward, to their own thoughts and judgments, to ensure they are living rationally and virtuously. But in a state of hypervigilance, your attention has been hijacked. It is chained to the external world, forced to scan for threats. The healing process is about reclaiming your attention and turning it back inward, but for a different purpose first, to create a sense of safety within your own body. It is using your attention to notice your own breath, to feel your feet on the ground, to listen to the sounds in your quiet room. It is to gently tell your nervous system, there's no threat right now. In this moment, you are safe. I am here. I will protect you. You are, in essence, becoming the calm, safe parent to your own wounded nervous system that you never had. Ask yourself, do you feel physically and mentally exhausted after even minor interactions with your family? Do you find it difficult to relax, always feeling like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop? Do you startle easily or feel constantly on edge? Does a notification from a family member trigger an immediate stress response in your body? Recognizing this sign is to honor the wisdom of your own body. Your exhaustion is not a weakness, it is a signal. Your anxiety is not a disorder, it is an alarm bell. Your hypervigilance is a testament to what you have survived. And it is a clear, undeniable message that your body can no longer pay the price for remaining in the war zone. We have walked through the 11 signs. We have named the criticism, the gaslighting, the sabotage, the chaos. If you have recognized yourself in these stories, you are likely feeling a heavy weight. The weight of recognition, of grief, of years of quiet pain. Take a breath. The purpose of naming these wounds is not to remain in the pain, but to finally understand the map that leads out of it. The solution is not found in a dramatic confrontation, a perfectly worded letter, or a final victorious argument. The solution is quieter, deeper, and entirely within your own power. It is found in the ancient wisdom of the Stoics, who perfected the art of finding freedom even while in chains. The solution is to reframe the entire journey. You are not deciding whether to leave your family. You are deciding whether to finally arrive at your own life. This journey of arrival is built on 3 foundational Stoic principles. First, you must embrace the dichotomy of control, the core teaching of Epictetus. As we've seen so much of, your pain comes from trying to control what you cannot. Their opinions, their behavior, their emotions, their choices. The solution begins when you ruthlessly, lovingly, let go of that impossible task. You cannot make them see your worth. You cannot force them to respect your boundaries. You cannot make them heal. What you can control is where you place your attention, how you respond, what you consent to, and what you walk away from. Your energy is a finite and precious resource. Stop pouring it into the black hole of what you cannot change and invest it entirely in what you can, your own actions, your own character, and your own peace. Second, you must begin the work of building your inner citadel, the great metaphor of Marcus Aurelius. Your mind is the one place no one can touch without your permission. It is your fortress, your sanctuary. For years you have allowed its gates to be open, for its walls to be breached by criticism and chaos. Now you become the architect and the guard. You build it with your practices, with journaling, with meditation, with philosophy. You furnish it with your own true thoughts and values. You learn to retreat into it whenever the external world becomes too loud. Walking away is often the act of giving yourself the space and quiet needed to lay the foundations of this sacred inner place. Third, you must feel the urgency of Seneca's wisdom on time. Your life is the sum of your days, your hours, your minutes. Every moment you spend recovering from a manufactured crisis, every hour you waste in a circular argument, every year you postpone your dreams to keep the peace that is your life being stolen. It is the one resource you can never get back. The solution is to see your time, your attention, and your energy as your most valuable assets. You must become their fierce protector. To choose peace is to choose to spend the currency of your life on things that nourish you, not on things that drain you. The practical path forward is this. It begins with a quiet, internal decision. I will no longer participate in dynamics that harm me. This is not a declaration you make to them. It is a promise you make to yourself. It is the beginning of a slow, deliberate disentanglement. You stop answering every call. You respond to texts more slowly. You politely decline invitations that you know will lead to pain. You let their drama play out without your involvement. You don't fight. You don't argue. You simply become less available to the toxicity. This is the real meaning of walking away. It is not always a physical departure. It is an emotional and energetic one. It is a quiet retreat to the high ground of your own inner citadel. It is the choice to arrive at a life defined not by the noise of others, but by the quiet strength of your own tranquil mind. Subscribe for more paths to a tranquil mind.